Welcome to the third episode of Poetry and Story Inspired by Landscape and Myth. My name is Monica Corish. This event is a fundraiser for Northwest Stop, which provides counselling support for people at risk of suicide. We invite and encourage you to make a donation through their website, northweststop.ie. Tonight, we celebrate Bealtaine, the beginning of summer, the time of flowering, fertility, and first love. Traditionally, Bealtaine was also the time when cattle were driven between purifying fires before being bullied to their summer pastures. We begin with a poem from Maggie Kilcoyne called Law Bealtaine 2020, followed by a flash memoir from me and a poem from Shane Leavy. We then have a song, Hugamer Féin on Saoirling, performed by Maggie and Tara Boy Mooney. Traditionally, this was sung by young men and women going from house to house with branches of maythorn on Bealtaine Eve. We finish with a story from Tom Sigafoos, a poem from Tara, and another poem from myself.
Bealtaine. Mouth of fire. Us merry maids meander through warped wakishness. The High Queen still not woken. The sidestep swerve into new being. Driocht. Punky pink sky fantasia. Locked in for this languid May. Venus, so close to Earth, you could smell her. Lovers dreaming with sweat on heads, dreaming of the cradling of a soft back, these hearty, zesty wonders we once took for granted.
This is a memory of taking part in a Corpus Christi procession shortly after I'd made my first communion. It's called Pick, Kiss, Scatter. I gather rose petals in the garden. They are velvety soft, yellow, pink, and peach. They smell like summer. Not the buds, my mother calls from the back door. Just the loose outer petals. When I come into the kitchen, she checks my harvest for caterpillars, transfers the petals from the egg saucepan into a Pyrex bowl, puts them in the fridge. My communion dress hangs on the back of the door, half covering the picture of Our Lady of Perpetual Succor. The gauzy veil drapes from a pearled comb. You should try the dress, she says. You're shooting up so fast these days. I take off my shorts and blouse and put it on. When we bought the dress, it covered my knees entirely, but I've grown since then, at least 2 inches. My mother stares hard at my knees. I could, she says, do some emergency surgery on the hem, but I think you'll do. You're just this side of decent. She takes a handkerchief from her pocket, moistens a corner with spit, scrubs at my knees, sighs. Right, she says, you're first into the bath tonight. We are allowed to watch the school around the corner, and then we go to bed. At first, I think I won't be able to fall asleep, but then it's morning and my father is waking my sister and me to have breakfast early. It's important that there are no cornflakes left inside your stomach when you receive Holy Communion. I put on my special slip, my white socks and shoes, my dress. My mother sets the comb of the veil into my scalp, flounces the gauze, stands back to admire her handiwork. We are in the car before I remember. The rose petals, Mammy. I need my rose petals. She runs back into the house, comes out with a brown paper bag. Don't crush them, she says. After Mass, she brings me to the back door of the church where the nuns are waiting. She empties my rose petals into a small basket with a curvy handle, flounces my veil one last time, and goes to join my father, my sister, and my brother. The priest stands beneath the golden Corpus Christi umbrella. The umbrella is carried by 4 grown-up altar boys. The priest holds the monstrance in his hands. It looks like a drawing of the sun, all the shiny rays coming out. When everyone is ready, he leads the procession out of the church and onto the street. We First Communion girls walk right behind him. At each slow step, we pick a rose petal, kiss it with our lips, scatter it over our shoulders. The nuns have had us practicing for weeks. The First Communion boys walk right behind us, their hymn books open in their hands. They try to catch our rose petals before they can touch the ground.
Hi, I'm Shane Leavy. Winter here in Leitrim was long, dark and wet, but the spring has been glorious, apart from today, even during the shock of the pandemic. So this is called Sleight of Sun. It rains incessant for 70 days, intermittent with sleet and hail, and darkness reigns. Then, one day the sun proclaims, the sky declares in aquamarine, the indigo heather, the meadows green, lambs bounce and tumble, primrose pops yellow, the evenings are sprawling, the west celebrating in orange and salmon, and the countryside seems to say that this sunlit bliss, this is how it's always been.
Here in the workshop, we talked about the old Irish customs, and someone spoke about the need fires for cattle. I thought about Tory Island again, and I began to imagine a bit of conversation. Oh, good afternoon, Father. I didn't know you were coming out to see us. I've come to bless the cattle. Well, that's grand of you to offer, Father, and thank you, but they've already been blessed. I beg your pardon. I've only been on this island for a week, and I've not seen hide nor hair of your cattle. Well, Father, in your absence, we had to take matters into our own hands. We built a need fire. And what precisely is that? It goes like this. Fergus lights the fire. He's the king of Tory, you know. The king? You presume to anoint a king? It's just a manner of speaking, Father. Anyway, Fergus lights the first fire, and then we light a second one from the first. We use turf that's not quite dry, so it's good and smoky. Then we run the cattle between the fires. And what is the point of this pagan procedure? Well, Father, we call it a blessing, and it drives away the ticks. I'll have some words with you and your king about fire and brimstone. And we'll leave it at that. But there's just no story like an Irish story.
This poem is based on a story told to me by Dick O'Driscoll, the last keeper on the Fastnet lighthouse off the coast of West Cork. According to Dick, the Fastnet Rock bullies her cattle to their summer pastures on May 1st. Her herd are a group of rocky islets in the Atlantic Ocean west of Jersey Island. The Fastnet Rock goes travelling. She is on Carrig Éanor, the solitary one, but her sweethearts are keepers. They talk for her to the men on the bull, send flashes of Morse around the mizzen, bounce light off low-lying cloud. On the first day of May, she visits her herd, the bull, the cow, the calf, and the heifer. She bullies them out to her summer pastures west of Jersey Island. She sets forth at dawn, a queen of the sea, trailing her skirts of lacy waves, seals in attendance, bow-riding dolphins, the granite-cut lighthouse, her elegant prow. The men on watch see wonders, mirages, shimmering tricks of the light. The sleeping keepers dream old dreams. They are herders, driving lowing cattle between Bealtaine fires. Thank you for journeying with us through the myths and stories of Bealtaine. As always, we thank Brendan Murray, Cormac Carroll, and Jonah Stello for their creative and technical support. We hope you can join us again next Friday at 8 for poetry and stories inspired by Lunasa.
Ocean FM.
Hey, arsehole!
Past midnight.
To leave the ever
They were all after me on account of what I'd done to Mrs. Music.
Join us every Thursday at 9:30 p.m. on Ocean FM for Arts Northwest.
Produced and presented by the Glens Arts Centre, Manorhamilton.
Repeats on Sundays 8 p.m. and podcast on all platforms.
Supported by Pubble, the Arts Council and Leitrim County Council.
The arts, me, yeah.